Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Naoya Inoue, back in the ring before you know it. September 14, 2025. Stays fighting in Japan because in Japan he can make that Wu-Tang cream cha-cha-ching dollar bill, y'all. And the title on the line is the undisputed super bantamweight championship, fighting at 122 pounds. Understand this when it comes to Naoya Inoue. He's facing Murajan Akhmadaliev. Eddie Hearn will tell you all day that Akhmadaliev is going to knock out Naoya Inoue. Before, we would probably scoff at Eddie Hearn's statements, but after watching Naoya Inoue last couple of fights, because he's so aggressive and on the front foot, he often leaves himself exposed, and he's been dropped. And I mean, you know, if enough torque is put on the counter and lands squarely on Inoue's chin, Inoue could get knocked out cold. Now, we got to understand, you know, kind of hard to see that because Inoue has like 30 fights with 27 KOs. He's orthodox, but he can switch from orthodox to southpaw. And he's just got freakish power, amazing timing. I mean, he just does vicious, brutal body work, and his IQ is second to none. But with Murajan Akhmadaliev, 14-1 with 11 KOs, so he has one loss. You ask Inoue fans, they'll say, oh, well, you know, Murajan knows how to lose. Inoue does not, but he's a southpaw. I'm going to be watching for that heat-seeking missile-like left hand of his to go straight down the pipe and land on Inoue. He brings pressure, he brings combination, and he's durable, and he has great stamina. All of those elements can make for a huge disaster for Naoya Inoue if he lacks, if he has defensive lapses and doesn't respect his opponent and hasn't learned from his past mistakes. Now, stylistically, when you look at Inoue's style, look, the man's got freakish power in both hands. He's got speed, timing, and he's not afraid of nothing. Switch hitter, elite timing, explosive power, devastating body puncher, especially with the left hook. And that shot's going to be there for him against Akhmadaliev. He controls range, but the thing about Naoya Inoue that I just think trips up a lot of his opponents is not the aforementioned. I think it's his feints, and I think it's his footwork. You know what I mean? When he gets you to start reacting, then all of a sudden he lets a shot go, a combination go, and then he uses his feet to change the angle, and you're like, oh, where'd he go? Now he's on the side of you. That shit is just a problem. And you can see his opponents start to have an expression of being overwhelmed just by the greatness of Naoya Inoue. He's known by breaking opponents down mentally and physically. Now with Akhmadaliev, again, he's durable, but he's a high-volume southpaw. Relentless pressure, kind of reminds me of a bit like a Zapata. But he's very strong on the inside. Very strong inside fighter. Likes to loop his hooks, and he also likes to invest in the body, and he's damn good at it. Durable, battle-tested, but I think with the kind of pace Inoue can push, I think down the stretch you'll see Inoue start to rise and another person start to kind of fall off. And I think Akhmadaliev is going to be in the fight until the fatigue sets in, and under that elite pace that Inoue is going to set, I think Akhmadaliev will fall off. But when you talk about like the key metrics comparisons, you just got to look at the KO ratio, man. You know, Inoue is 90%, Akhmadaliev 78%. So they both can hit. Reach, Inoue 67.5 inches, Akhmadaliev 68 inches. So not much of a difference there, but it just means that, you know, Akhmadaliev can get to him because Inoue doesn't have any kind of advantage in the reach department. Height, they're both 5'5". Recent activity, Inoue beat Tapales, and then Akhmadaliev, he beat Castillo, but, you know, the guy Tapales, who Inoue beat, he beat Akhmadaliev. So that just lets you know styles make fights, because it doesn't mean anything that Tapales beat Akhmadaliev, because styles make fights. Now, as far as a breakdown of what we could see happening here, who knows till they get in the ring, but I definitely feel that Inoue, things he must do, control the center early, man. He's got to prevent Akhmadaliev from getting momentum going. That's one of the things about Akhmadaliev with his relentless pressure and his volume punching. If you let him get momentum going, it's going to be hard to recover, especially if he starts landing on Inoue. So ways Inoue can slow all that up is by what he does very well is just target that body. Slow down the Uzbek's pressure. Use those angles. Of course, you got a man coming at you like a wild, aggressive bull. You just step out to the side, use angles, man. Don't get trapped on the ropes, or Akhmadaliev is going to just punch right through you. And then exploit those defensive lapses where the guy's just coming for you, coming forward, super aggressive. A lot of times they're vulnerable for counters, and I think, especially when Akhmadaliev throwing those wide hooks, I think Inoue can just time it and just turn the shot over, and he's going to have some big-time success. Now, when it comes to Akhmadaliev, look, he's just got to start fast, and push Inoue backwards. Catch him slipping, just like Daniel Jacobs caught Peter Quillen. First round, caught him sleeping. He was there, still thinking about the ice cream he had 2 days ago. Caught his ass sleeping, tranquilized him, got him up out of there. You got to stay compact, because if he overcommits and he gets too wild, he's going to get knocked out by Inoue. But also, maybe he's got to be a little aggressive, because it's really important that anyone who gets in the ring with Inoue, starting with Akhmadaliev, they test his chin. Test his chin, put that volume on him, volume of punches on him, put the pressure on him. Let's see if Inoue is really as tough as we think. And make that shit a war, not a chess match. You start playing chess with Inoue, you're going to get checkmated. And it's going to be checkmate. The left hand landing upside your head, that's the check, and the mate's going to be the right hand cleaning your ass up. So conditioning and composure, I think that's the X factor. Akhmadaliev can get tired. He's shown that in fights, especially against Tapales. Had he had the proper conditioning and stamina, he probably wins that fight. Inoue thrives in high-stakes moments, and he rarely loses his composure. He's always keeping his eye on the prize, and he's in great shape. But if Akhmadaliev fades, Inoue is going to capitalize, and just expect the fight to stop as soon as he starts fading. When he starts fading, Inoue will start putting the bing-bings on him and put the goddamn, anyway, from Japan, I don't know which part of Japan, but just know it's going to be some goddamn bombs being dropped. Mute this. It's going to be some bombs being dropped on Akhmadaliev. So if you say, well, what's your prediction on the fight? Look, man, it's only right that you favor Inoue to get in there and knock him out. You know what I mean? Inoue is no joke. Inoue can do everything. I want to see Inoue go up and fight Bruce Carrington or Nick Ball. That's just me. But when you look at his precision, power, ability to adapt mid-fight, it's only right to say Inoue is probably going to win this fight. Akhmadaliev is dangerous early. Anything can happen early. I just think the bodywork and timing is going to break down Akhmadaliev. I say between rounds 6 to 8. Inoue, get him up out of there. Anyway, y'all keep cool. More to come on Inoue and what his future holds. But what I do know is what's next for him could be his fellow countryman. What's his name? Junto Nakatani. Now, Inoue has come out. I was about to end this video, but Inoue has come out and said that he holds Junto Nakatani in very high regard. But he wants to focus on the super bantamweight division. So we just got to understand exactly what's going on with Inoue, but he's interested in a historic all-Japanese clash between these two pound-for-pound elites. And this probably will be the biggest domestic fight in Japanese history. And if that fight were to happen, it'd probably take place sometime around December 27th, closer to New Year's in Saudi Arabia. And I think they're actually floating the target date around like New Year's Eve, New Year's or some shit. Anyway, it depends on Inoue's health coming off of this fight and Nakatani's readiness. So that fight, for sure, will be a hard one to call. Anyway, big up to Naoya Inoue. Shout out to Akhmadaliev. But I think Inoue gets through him, and then there'll be an all-Japanese showdown later this year. And I don't know who to pick between Nakatani and Inoue. But what they say, the fans win, right? Y'all keep cool. I got to go to some medical appointments right now. In the breeze.